Hello and welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And today I want to talk about citizenship and the application for naturalization. So remember, if you're a green card holder and if you've been a green card holder for a certain amount of time, you can apply to become a U.S. citizen. All right. Now, what we're seeing right now, and I'm filming this in July of 2018, and so what we're seeing right now under the Trump administration is that I've had clients come in and meet with me who've applied for citizenship but are now actually facing deportation because they've actually put themselves through the citizenship process into removal proceedings. And so I just want to go over with you the requirements for citizenship again, and we can talk as we go through it about some common pitfalls and some common mistakes that people make. And I want you to just be aware of what the law says so that we can avoid or best prepare your case. All right. So to do that, in my office, I've got a binder, right, that explains basically every legal process that we do. And I go over this with people during my consultations, and it's just kind of a guide to help me remember all the requirements, because citizenship, there are lots of different requirements, all right? So the first requirement is that you actually have to be a lawful permanent resident, all right? And you also have to be, you have to be a lawful permanent resident for a certain period of time, all right? So let's talk about this, all right? Lawful permanent resident means, yes, you have a green card, but it also means that your green card was lawfully gotten. All right, and it also means that you're not, quote unquote, deportable, like you haven't violated your green card in any way, okay? And so, if you got your green card through fraud, like if you lied and you didn't say that you were married, for example, because you wanted to be able to immigrate to the United States as the unmarried son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, which is one of the visa categories, right? Then that could come back to haunt you, all right, if you apply for citizenship, and they could say, wait, you're not eligible because there was fraud in your case, all right? You also have to show that you've been a green card for either 5 years, which is sort of the standard way, or some people can apply under a 3-year rule if you're married and living in marital union with a U.S. citizen for 3 years. All right, so that's the first big requirement. The second requirement is you have to be at least 18. So I'm not, you either are or you aren't. I'm not worried about that. The third requirement is that you have to show that you're a person of, quote unquote, good moral character. All right, and this is an issue that also comes up and can be a red flag for certain people. So for example, if you haven't paid your taxes, that can affect your good moral character element here. If you owe alimony or child support, it can affect your good moral character here. If you have any criminal history, it can affect your good moral character here, all right? So go over, if you have any questions, if you have any issues that have come up where, you owe money to the federal government, right? Or, there's some other issue that you think, might affect your good moral character analysis. All right, bring that up with an attorney and let's go over that and let's make sure that you have, quote unquote, good moral character, because it is one of the requirements, and your officer will ask you about good moral character during your naturalization interview, all right? The fourth big requirement is physical presence, all right? And physical presence comes in 3 different analyses, all right? So the first is you have to have been physically present in the United States at least half of the time, that half of either the 3 years or the 5 years, depending on which way you're applying for your green card, all right? So, and that's calculating the days, all right? So to the day, you have to at least have 50% of your time physically present in U.S. soil. The second is that we look at each of your trips outside the U.S. As a green card holder, you do have the right to travel. And so we look at your trips, and the question is, did any of your trips last more than 6 months outside of the United States? Because if so, it may have caused what they call a disruption in your physical presence, right? In your domicile, in your residence here in the United States. And so if it did, then you have to wait 4 years and a day from the date of your disruption, all right? And if you've spent a long time out of the United States, then it can cause even bigger problems. They can say you abandoned your green card completely. They can put you in removal proceedings, all right? So be cautious about your physical presence, all right? The fifth requirement is that you have some exams to pass, all right? And so there's an English exam, and it's basic English. And so if you can hear and understand everything I'm saying right now in English, and if you can communicate basically in English, you shouldn't have any problem. The second exam is what they call the U.S. History and Civics exam, all right? And there are 100 questions to study. They'll ask you 10 of them, and really they typically ask 6, because as long as you get 6 right, then you automatically pass, all right? You only have to get 6 right out of the 10. If you don't pass that, it's not a super big deal. They'll deny your application, but they can give you a second date for a second test, all right, if that's the only issue. And if you fail it twice, then you have to reapply. I mean, there is a separate kind of appeals process. We won't get into that right now. Okay, good. And then the very last requirement down here is you have to be willing to swear loyalty to the United States. So after you go through the whole citizenship process, you get scheduled for an oath ceremony, and you raise your hand and you swear that you'll be willing to take allegiance, to swear allegiance to the United States. And so those are like the legal requirements, all right? So if you have any questions about any of those legal requirements, please feel free to contact my office. We're here in downtown Oakland. We represent people in citizenship proceedings throughout the United States. And so if you have any questions about that, please feel free to contact my office, especially if you have either a good moral character potential problem or a criminal record from your past, or if there's some issue, you've been in immigration court in the past, anything like that. If you have some complexity to your citizenship case, please reach out to an attorney or reach out to my office. I'd love to help you through that process, okay? So thank you very much for watching. I'm Otis Landerholm, founder here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Thank you.